kind of speaking to your judgment piece is before going to ARPTC, I had a lot of judgment on myself as a player. And I think you kind of got at us on this over the summer about creating stories. That's something I know I did a lot, even about my opponents. I built these stories up in my head, like, oh, they're an eagle or they're so-and-so. And I put them on pedestals before even playing against them. And I think, you really helped me as a player kind of take that piece out of my mental skills for training and games and stuff like that.
Yeah. Stories are a really interesting thing because we're really, really good at making them up. And our whole lives, we're really good at making up stories. However, they're almost never, have you noticed, they're almost never positive stories.
Right.
They're almost always negative stories, and they're almost, we call them stories because they're made up. It's like a fairy tale. It's a made up story about what may or may not happen in the future. And so what happens is then that story runs you.
Yep.
Yeah. And you do this thing that we call getting in your head.
Yep. Know that all too well.
Yeah.
But I think that, with having your guidance from the beginning of the summer to the end and creating it, where now my teammates know how to help us get out of our head. And I think that, anybody coming to ARPTC or getting coached by you will learn about acknowledgments. And that's something that, you don't really get in other environments, but just being able to state the fact of what happened and move on to the next thing, because in a game of sevens, it's so fast that you don't have time to be in your head. You need to quickly get out of your head. And I think that's one thing that you really helped me do as a player was get out of my head and be able to perform for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's two-step process really, right? One is, first thing is being able to notice that you're in your head, which isn't so hard. You guys know when you're in your head. I ask a lot of athletes, do you know when you're in your head? And they all say, yes, I do, right? Even from the freshman in high school all the way to the professional athlete, they know exactly when they're in their head. And that being in your head isn't the problem. You're going to get in there. And I think this is where we diverge from sports psychology quite a bit, is really making it okay that you are where you are, and then having a plan to self-rescue or having a plan to help your teammates.
Yeah.
Right. So being in your head is not the problem. Not being able to self-rescue and get yourself out of your head is the problem. And people don't know how to do that. And it's not that hard once you know how to do it. Would you agree with that?
Right. As soon as you kind of gave us the tools and stuff, no, it's not hard. It saves a lot of time too.
And a lot of pain, Lauren, right?
Yes, definitely.
Because once you're in there, it's just a downward spiral unless you know how to get out.